So yeah, we'll get going. So this is my this is gonna be my recording, my post-commentary recording for a recent run of Peggle Deluxe NG Plus that I did. Hopefully this recording is gonna be good enough to be like a submission video for like this sort of marathon cycle. So yeah, I have prepared a video playback and I'll get started. Hopefully I was close enough to the start of the run. Alright, so we're getting going. This is just selecting the first master, so we don't have to switch to it when we start the run, and it looks like we're gonna get going right about now. So yeah, this is Peggle Deluxe NG Plus. I'll spare you the details of the basic Peggle gameplay. It's pretty self-evident what's going on. Basically, the goal of the level is simply to clear out all of the orange pegs, and since this is NG Plus, we can choose. We have the choice between 10 different characters for every level that we can use to help us along. In this case, we're gonna for the first level we have been using Splork. You're not gonna see Splork pretty often, so yeah, it's gonna take a while. For the rest of the first stage, we're gonna see a lot of Tula play here. Basically, what Tula does is, if we hit a green, then that's gonna light up 1/5 of the remaining oranges at that point. So so you saw there we had 13 oranges left, and that hit. So that green hit 3 oranges. This first level became really awkward because I actually missed a certain strategy that we were going for. Since the physics of this game, they are deterministic. So if there's like a big obstacle that we want to get rid of immediately, then we can use a predetermined shot that we know what it's gonna do. But in this case, it didn't work out quite well. The next few are gonna go a bit better. You see, we use this pretty tough pixel here. That's gonna clear out. Clear out most of the left side pretty quickly, which is gonna make quick work of this level. The levels here can go by pretty fast. NG Plus is basically the fastest of like what I would say the main categories of Peggle. Normally, the most common category to run is what we call adventure mode. That's just the any % category of this run. And then for all of these levels, the game is gonna tell us which master we're gonna have to use here. Basically, the way to do basic gameplay optimizations is we wanna try to make sure that we minimize like big airtime of the balls that we're shooting. So if I wanna like angle the first few bounces that I get so that the ball is gonna hopefully stay within the cluster that we're aiming at, rather than like bounce all over the place. So yeah, those basic optimizations are actually pretty key on getting like a fast time. Basically every shot that we're gonna take. Actually, hold on. This is the first level where we're gonna see Cinderbottom. So Cinderbottom is gonna give us a fireball that's gonna burn through all the pegs that it touches. We can use the bucket that's that goes back and forth below the level to like get some extra mileage out of that fireball. And interestingly, for this specific level, since it's kind of a janky nothing shape, I guess, the community hasn't sort of reached an agreement on what master to use. Most runners who've like actually grinded NG+ will use either Splork or Tula. I decided to go for Cinder, which is actually a pretty new idea, which I think in this case it worked out pretty well. But I don't think we can like be really for sure which master is optimal for that level. As opposed to most levels where, depending on how we can deal with the main obstacles in the level, it's either gonna be a Tula or a Cinder level. So in this case, this level is kind of whack, and I actually missed the strat that I'm supposed to go for 2 times, which is not that great. Which is not that great actually, but it turns out with like the way I can use the fireballs here, this is a bit of a special setup, sort of a variant of the sort of bucket bounces that we went for in 2-1. But yeah, this... So you can see this level kind of went a bit weak for NG+, but overall, I would say things are still going quite well for me here. Now, in this case, we have another like pretty big obstacle, but instead of like, but since we have that really strong setup to like deal with it without using fireballs, we are just gonna use Tula. That's how a lot of these early levels are gonna go. Especially on the early levels, you're gonna see a lot of Tula. Later on, we are gonna see a lot of Cinder. So the next level after this is actually the first one in adventure mode that introduces moving elements, which makes it incredibly hard when we have to do it in any percent, because we don't actually get a strong master for this level in that sense. But now, as you can see, the corner fireballs are gonna be able to make quick work of the level. I also try to adjust the cycles here so that I get better coverage on the right side. I know that if you like sort of manage to chain the fireballs, that is like being able to shoot them, get fireballs in back-to-back shots, then you get pretty good cycles naturally. So that since I missed the cycle there, since I missed the chain there, I had to set up those cycles manually. So for this, for 3-1, we actually have a pretty tough pixel to aim for, since we don't have a super consistent visual lineup to like get the correct height. I can actually use the cheeky input trick there, which uses a thing called mouse keys, which is a setting in Windows that allows you, to like input like small mouse movements with the numpad. So in that case, I can use an input that I know is gonna move the mouse cursor 1 pixel up to make sure that I can actually like tell based on what the aiming trail looks like. be able to know what that I get the correct pixel there. So the next few levels, I would say, aren't super interesting in this category. You just kind of do a pixel setup that gets a cheeky slide, and then the rest of the level becomes pretty straightforward. So right about here can be a pretty alright time for donations, or yeah, you can. This would be a good level to like do donations for marathons where that's relevant. The next level after this is actually a horribly annoying level. You're gonna see it, and you basically, it's gonna be pretty obvious what the main problem is gonna be. And that is just making sure the ball just doesn't get stuck on top of these pedals. They are really annoying to deal with, and I would say out of like the top runners, I'm still probably the weakest at this level. Since you have to like balance getting like good combos with like actually getting a bunch of oranges in one shot, with having to like make sure you don't get stuck on the pedals. Here, this last bit went really awkward. I tried to go for a weird combo here. I'm pretty sure you can't actually get a good angle there without getting blocked. So a bit of a time loss there. Hey, you see, the first time I tried to actually re-roll a level layout, basically on levels where you can get a big slide, it can be a good idea to sort of re-roll so you get more oranges on that slide, so that you just so that you have to play less of the level yourself. I'm using Cinder here, but the idea here is a bit different compared to most of the times where I use Cinder. Since there's not a lot of the level left, basically what I'm doing is just trying to aim the fireballs at like sort of a few remaining low oranges, except in this level I got like quite a few oranges. If you look back, there were like 6 on the bottom row of pegs, which is kind of silly. So that made this a pretty slow level. That's just kind of how Peggle goes a lot of the times. More often than not, the difference between like, say, getting a 50-second level or a 1-minute level is just straight up luck. Because of the chaotic nature of the runs, some things are just not that predictable as you would hope. But obviously, since there's a lot of levels and each level has the same kind of variance, it's actually like really hard to actually get disproportionately lucky. Since you're kind of sort of working at the scale where like sort of a law of large numbers tends to kick in. Where it's like super unlikely that you get really that your luck is like super far worse or better than average or something. I think this level went a bit weird in my case. There's like a special there's like a setup, a special fireball that I tried to go for, where which is actually gonna clear out a big part of the moving ring actually, but as you can see, I end up kind of whiffing this this fireball, and I end up hitting the top part instead of the side of the bucket. The interesting thing about well, no, that's stuff for later. So here you see I have to scramble a little bit to be able to beat the level. I don't end up requiring a large amount of luck here. I just got one lucky free ball in the bucket here, and that basically sealed the level for me. But again, the end games could still be a fair bit better here. I think I wasn't super paying attention here. You see me go for one thing, which is sort of the one thing on the left, which is sort of the approach you would go for in this level in any percent. Except then I remember, oh wait, you're playing Cinder, just go for the fireballs immediately. I think the fireballs were a bit unlucky overall, but I got pretty good luck on this cleanup bit. Quite a few good combos were with how sparse these levels are. It's a bit tough to get any kind of combo there. So here again, I forget what I'm supposed to be doing. For this level, you just want to play Splork. Splork does a space blast, as you can see, big explosion. Since this is actually like probably one of the hardest levels in the run, even more so in NG+, because a lot of levels which are hard normally become easier with stronger masters, and here Splork is the default master, and there's just nothing better available. So I end up getting pretty lucky, and I didn't take notice because I do a bunch of unnecessary things, like trying to preserve that second blast for a free ball, trying to go for free ball skills over there. So normally you have to pay quite a, at all times you have to pay quite a bit of attention to like what your situation is at, how likely are you going to be able to beat the level without doing extra work. For this level we get another cool fireball strat. I actually intentionally go for these high bounces now because they sort of like combine a bit better if you get both of them. In that case I got sort of a more standard corner bounce, but as you can see, like after the bucket bounce I didn't get a whole lot extra, which was kind of what I was trying to avoid there. So another few not super interesting levels normally. Except in this case the level is gonna look really weird for playing with Tula. Since I got like really weird green generations, which as you can see I still don't have like a clear shot towards either of them. So I just decided to start clearing oranges and wait for a path to clear up. So yeah, that ends up having two really weird late usages, but I got lucky, so not a lot of time wasted there. This level has some funny lore attached. The fish is called the fish. Someone referred to it as Gerald, I think it was Helios at some point, and since then it kind of the name Gerald kind of stuck around. What sort of helped with the memes is, and actually, you know what? In this case, I got like super bailed out on the left side there because I got a really weird, really early switchover on Gerald, which blocked off a few oranges, but they ended up getting like randomly cleared out by the green. So that was really funny. This level looks kind of janky. It's again not super interesting and not actually that interesting in NG+. That's kind of the thing. That's kind of the way how most Tula levels are. Tula levels go basically. A lot of the time getting good level times with Tula. It sort of depends more on your general Peggle gameplay skills than like actually making good use of the greens of the powers that you're getting. Speaking of making use of the powers that you're getting, I'm using Cinder now. Usually, when you play Cinder, it's a good idea to actually like. Sort of have a predetermined plan on what kind of fireboss you would go for. So in this case, I go for these really weird bounces. Especially the second one ends up being really useless for me. For some reason, I had in mind that the usual like corner fire bounces, they actually didn't. That they weren't actually that good on this level. Get a nice trick shot here to help with getting a fast cleanup there. But in fact, like I checked afterwards, and the usual Cinder strats are just fine on that level. So not sure what that was about. So, another boring level. Could be another donation candidate. But other than that... there's actually like... Yeah, I guess I would say this is the donation candidate, and then the Renfield section is more or less for general sort of... Peggle gameplay. This is a very interesting strat. We actually have to go for a specific timing here. The window that I'm going for is has 3 frames, but the game is actually running at 100 FPS, so 3 frames is more like just slightly over 2 frames in slightly over 1.5 frames in a standard 60 FPS game. But yeah, since the next 3 levels are all like kind of straightforward, this is a good moment to like talk about sort of the how we generally speed up the Peggle gameplay that we are doing basically. So a lot of the times when there's like there's sort of a casual tip that tends to go around, which is to sort of aim higher up on the level so that the ball can like hit the target that you're going for, and then like get a random combo lower down in the level. For speedruns this can be alright, but when there's like a big cluster of pegs like below where you're aiming, it's often hard to your odds are like not that great to actually like get inside of that cluster, basically, because and when you don't get in that cluster, you get a whole bunch of high bounces, and that's getting such a bad shot can easily lose like 3 to 4 seconds each time it happens. So in general, what we're trying to do is like either make sure that the sections of level that still have oranges, they still that they still stay very dense to avoid high bounces, or if we do have a high orange that's kind of like exposed later on in the level, I try to like use the shots that clear the rest of the level to like make a path free for that high orange, so that I can get a quick shot later on. And actually, I think you're gonna see I actually missed the strat that I was going for in this level. I decided to keep going because at the beginning it looked like I got very lucky, but then a whole bunch of unlucky things happened. I tried to save this here, and I got a really weird bounce here, so I kind of died there. That's just kind of... That's something that's... you always have to... that's always gonna like stay a part of marathon runs. It's pretty hard to like get a run throughout the entire game without dying once. Only like, I would say only like there's probably like only 10 or so runners that actually have a APB where they don't actually take a death in the level. In part, this is because trying to like salvage a level that is going poorly can in itself be pretty slow, because you're always like taking a few seconds at a time to like line up shots, and all those seconds are gonna add up pretty quickly when a level normally just takes around a minute. But yeah, I think I was still a bit off my rocker from that loss because I'm playing the wrong master here. My splits tell me to use Cinder, and like this whole sequence on the left kind of exemplifies why I should be playing Cinder, because like all of this was just incredibly janky to get, and I got pretty lucky there a few times, and so I needed a bit of luck to like get a fast time here. So this is 7-1. You may think that I like this level, but this level sucks. No one knows. No one really knows what to do here. I think the play that I go for is like one normal corner fireball, and then one intentional high bounce, but I actually like mistimed the second shot, so that one ended up not doing too much for me. So yeah, a lot. Since I have a lot of moving oranges left, this is all just kind of jank to clear out, and yeah, still not a great time. This wouldn't be a great time for any percent. It's very much not a great time for NG+. So this is a bit of a... I've been talking so much about what's going on. It's I haven't been really been talking about what sort of the community has been doing since there's obviously like thankfully this is Peggle has become quite an active speed game over the last few years, so there's a lot of people like actively looking for new strats to go for, and I'm blanking out a bit too much here. Talking for so long, it says taking a bit of the wind out of me, I guess. But yeah, there's most of the time when we're doing Peggle runs, when we're doing like Peggle speedruns in Marathon, there's gonna be some couch people to help with commentary. Since in particular, like I can talk a lot now, but obviously that's gonna be a lot harder when I'm doing like when I actually have to do the run myself. So this level is normally pretty hard to beat, but basically with the strat that we're going for, these two slides in the middle, and then the fireball with Cinder, they can clear out the sides really efficiently, so this ends up being a super fast level to clear out. So yeah, a lot of these strats were a lot of these strats, they are often found just through sheer grinding. You're gonna see a lot of the time you sort of see me aim at a specific spot on one of the pegs, since every peg looks the same. You also like get like visually the same setup every time, so they're like always good ideas to sort of see what shots you can get here. This level is a bit interesting, since we're basically like doing two pretty wicked strats to getting two pretty wicked slides on the mouth section, and then the remainder section is really convenient for Sprock to like kind of sweep out. So normally, even with in any percent, even with that really powerful strat, the level is still kind of annoying to beat, because the remaining shapes, it's sort of hard to like clear out efficiently. This is one of the rare instances where I go for a weird fireball strat and it actually like kind of works out. I haven't like grinded this category a lot, so in this submission I don't have a lot of practice on like a lot of the harder fireball strats. That should be able to be easily cleaned up with a few weeks of experience. So the next level is a bit weird. I don't, as you can see, I get pretty bad combos on a lot of these. Like, some ideas are kind of working, but then some I just kind of lose the ball after one orange hit. So I get a whole bunch of unfortunate events happening. I get a free ball from points here. This is something that not often comes up in NG+, because you don't often like need points to need like extra free balls to like beat the level. But with Plork, basically you can sort of time when you use the your space blasts more effectively to either get a free ball from points directly. If you score 25,000 points, you get a free ball. Or if the space blast is just gonna hit a lot of oranges, then often it's a good idea to sort of go for it immediately so that you can raise the multiplier effectively. There's a whole bunch of point optimization that you sort of can go for that often that, as I explained, often just doesn't show up in NG+. This is one of the few harder levels where it kind of makes sense to elaborate on that. So yeah, this is kind of a level. The next two levels are, I think these are levels where there's a lot of potential for the fireballs that we haven't really like sort of uncovered yet. Here I can use one fireball on the to like clear out a lot of the right die. As you can see, that makes pretty quick work of it, and but then like on the left side we kind of just go for a pretty basic strat, and as you can see we end up not even using the second fireball, so there's probably like some potential to like use them both in a way that make the level easy enough without any additional strats. Here we're gonna see roughly the same thing, although here it's much harder to like get like a lot of coverage on just one fireball. So I end up basically going for both fireballs on the right side, just so that it can clear out the obstacle a bit. This level kind of went a bit weird, but yeah, as you can see I got just a few bits of luck. That's often something you can like kind of gamble on. When you think about it, losing a minute is not like that slow if you can get that sort of gamble to work like maybe like 3/4 of the time. Which is the kind of probability you can sort of expect of the level. So over here we're going to through stage 9 of the stage 9, which in any percent we would have to use Cinder here, and these levels tend to be a bit over-engineered for towards Cinder. A lot of like really beefy obstacles that are like pretty hard to like clear out normally. I got a bit unlucky here, so not the greatest time. Here I actually go for a strat that's also quite different from like most other runners. There's like there's a pixel shot where you can go for, where you can actually get 2 slides on the outside of the level. But I think these fireballs are strong enough to just do these and play out the rest of the level in a more sort of intuitive manner. Just trying to get the oranges relatively quickly. I got a really badly positioned pack here that's always kind of slow. That's probably like something I would like consider looking out for in my layout, but the thing is, especially with Cinder, the primary thing is you really want to be able to access the fire, to get to use your fireballs early on in the level, because every turn, every shot you have to do before fireballs is just something that can get stuck on whatever obstacle the level has for a really long time. So on the next level, we are actually going to see something pretty interesting. You've seen almost every fireball that we go for is something where we bounce on the side of the bucket, because the side of the bucket is actually a pretty flat surface, which gives us a pretty big window to like aim on and get a reliable bounce. On this level, I want to go for a pretty precise shot on the top of the bucket. I actually end up missing here because the arc of the cap of the bucket is actually like slightly arced upwards. So if I need a very specific angle, which I definitely want in this level, I end up having like only in this case I only end up having like a 12-ish frame window to hit it, which compared to a lot of games, 12 frames at 100 FPS is not that hard, but in a game where like super precise timings rarely matters, that's actually not entirely trivial to like get used to. So on the next level, you're gonna see a pretty interesting strat that doesn't actually do a lot in the at first sight. I end up having to reset a few times. I want you to look at like the lower that cluster of pegs like below the spinning cane here. There's actually those three oranges that it hit there. They're actually like straight up guaranteed to be orange, as opposed to most other packs where basically orange placement is, as far as we know, completely random. So interestingly, despite this big cane being in the middle of the level, we can just go for the usual Cinder strats, like go for a slight variant on the left side. I would say most of this level ended up being pretty lucky for me, except like this ending part where I end up bouncing on the fever buckets at the end. Those fever buckets can be pretty killer, because they're so small. Actually, before I talk about that, check this strat, pretty sick. Wait for it. One bounce and two bounces. Nice. That's another one that sort of depends on like getting a precise angle on the cap of the bucket. But yeah, those fever buckets at the end, they are a pretty small target overall, so like you can sort of try aiming for them, but it's actually really hard to get a very clean ending of the level. And depending on what kind of bounces you get, you actually like can lose like 8 or so levels just at the end of each level, basically. So this level has a bunch of portal shenanigans. I ended up going for a pretty weird play here that ended up working out well for me, although I still have like on the left there's still like a lot of junk that I have to dig through. Sometimes Tula just kind of puts you in these circumstances where if the greens spawn high up, then the oranges that it's gonna hit are also gonna be the ones that are higher up, and then the oranges that are left can sometimes just be stuck in a big cloud of blue pegs. Here I tried to go for a similar kind of shot in Sin 11-2, but if you want to look at this bounce, I get an incredibly weird bounce here. So yeah, this has never happened before of this run, basically. I think it's just a kind of glitchy double bounce that you end up seeing on that you end up seeing in a lot of a similar kind of glitch to what you see in a lot of games, basically. But this is like a pretty rare circumstance of it happening in Peggle, where I feel like it's not actually super that common at all. So this level is Zenfrog. It looks really wicked. It is almost always incredibly hard, but there is a really cool fireball strat that I'm supposed to get. I actually ended up going for the wrong cycle on the left side here. Here on the right, you're gonna see more of what it should look like. So yeah, pretty epic. Just being able to clear out half of the helix like that. And that basically makes what is normally like one of the hardest levels in the game into pretty much another pretty trivial level to beat, which is pretty cool. So we actually go into like the final stage of the level. This is actually the same as in any percent, because for the final stage in adventure mode, this is kind of treated as a sort of final exam, so you're also allowed to just choose whatever master you want. So I get to be able to use all my sort of any percent experience on this on these levels. In particular, this level had one of the strongest pixel strats in the game. You end up making pretty quick work of this level. But again, you can still sort of see how slow these fever bounces can be. So this is a really weird level now, because basically we just end up having to go for basically one pixel shot for each of those 3 slides here that you're seeing. So you can clear up a fair amount of these the right side, and then these 2 last remaining beams there lined up pretty well for a corner shot, for a corner fireball. Even then, depending on how lucky you get, this level still can just completely troll you. Also, this level, it's kind of a weird one. Almost every, I think most of the other runners play Who on this level. This is Who is a master that you're basically not, that we haven't seen in this run. In part, it's because I just simply don't like Who. But I actually end up missing this pixel here. It's a weird combination. It's actually a very weird strat there, where I am going for aiming at a specific pixel, and then I have to offset it by tapping once on the keyboard, on the arrow keys, to do the shot that I wanted to do, which would clear out a bit more on the left side. But yeah, this here, this end game is kind of always gets very weird because you have to like aim your shots through a moving portal, which is incredibly annoying and basically a skill that's unlike anything else in the game. So yeah, good luck with that. I'm not the greatest at it compared to a lot of other runners. So I end up getting kind of okay-ish time. This next level, there's a big obstacle in the middle, and basically we decided that this is another one where we're just gonna throw a bunch of pixels at the problem until it dies. There's another shot that you can follow up on the right side with, but I kind of forgot it. Also, pretty wicked getting that one. There is a way I had prepared to like get that last remaining orange to, even though it's like under the big orb. So we're actually at the last level here. Which is pretty interesting since it has gone through a lot of strat iterations. But this is the first time where... This was the first level where we basically ended up settling on these kind of precision fireball shots. Which just kind of line up to clear most of the helix there, which would otherwise be a complete nightmare to like have to dig through. So after this, the levels... After this level, the run's gonna end. It's gonna end on the next continue. Clicking the next continue, so... yeah, that's gonna be it. That's the run. You're not seeing the credits because I clicked out... because I tapped out of the window like an idiot. But yeah, I hope you... but I hope you enjoyed me rambling a lot about the run. Oh. That was a lot to talk about, and yeah, since I did this run in kind of a no commentary, sort of a no mic stream, I thought doing a post commentary recording of it for the actual submission would be pretty cool. So that's what you're seeing now. Yeah, I hope everyone watching this enjoyed the
well, that was
enjoyed the run. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe.
Cool. I was expecting like a 53 or something, not quite this.
And I'll see y'all.
Pretty sure this runs still at 2 deaths, even.